Fine. So in day one, it was very simple. I told you class file. I told you about Java programs, right? And I told you about jar files. Then we also downloaded jar files for Selenium under the reference libraries. Okay. Now today we will see how to use the classes in the jars. Fine. Now suppose I make a new project. Hold on. Day two. Fine. Now in this project, I'll make a new file. Say the name of the file is car. Okay. So this is car.java with no main function. It cannot be executed. I'll define some properties of this car class. Okay. What we are studying now is the concept of object-oriented programming, and then we'll see how it is implied in Selenium. Okay. So guys, request you to keep your microphones on mute. Okay. You can unmute when you uh, want
Hello,
to ask
Ashish.
questions. Yeah.
Uh, your sound volume is little bit. I'm getting little bit echo. Before starting recording, it was fine.
Hold on. So this is the name car class, and out here I can define a property of the car. Say string name of the car. Okay. Now I can make another class. So now if I make a class, another class known as say test car. Fine. Now in this class, I'll make the main function. You make the main function in the class which you want to execute. Okay. I want to execute test car. And in test car, I'll be making the objects of car class. Okay, it's not necessary to make the class as test car, you can give any name. Okay. And now you'll be setting up objects of the car class. You'll write over here new car. Okay. Now what happens when you write new car? What is the significance and what is the usage? Okay. Basically, when you write new car in the memory, you end up creating the object of that class with the property name. Okay. But this object cannot be accessed. You will come to know what object is. Hold on. Okay. You can write over here car C1 equals to new car. Then after that, car C2 equals to new car like this. Now C1 and C2 are known as references. They are different than objects. Okay. At any time, if you are not able to hear me, please let me know. Okay. Now, what do I mean by creating these two objects? What happens is that in the memory, C1 and C2 they point towards objects, right? C1 it points towards one object, and C2 it points towards another object. And with C1 and C2 you can manipulate the state of the object. Okay, for example, we can write C1 dot name is on and C2 dot name is not. Alright, so when you write system.out.println C1 dot name, this will print Honda, and when you write system.out.println C2 dot name, this will print Maruti. Property name is same. In car.java we just have property name, but with an object, by creating multiple objects, you can give the name property different value for every object. Okay, I hope this point is clear to everyone. Similarly, in the car class, if we have a function called public void move, right? In this we have the statement. Please keep yourself on mute, guys. Please make sure that you are on mute. Alright. Now in this move function, alright, I have system.out.println. You can write name of the car plus move. Alright. So just a minute. Alright. Then you print the car moving. Now move function will also be there inside each of the objects. Move will be here and move will also be here. Okay. When I call in testcar.java, if I say c1 dot move and c2 dot move, when c1 will call the move function, okay, in the move function name property is utilized, name property of c1 will be utilized, and when c2 calls the move function, the name property of c2 will be utilized. Pretty simple, right? It's not big deal. Okay, if you run this, it will say, sorry, it will, hold on, seat is printing, Honda moving, Maruti moving. Okay, now how this is useful in Selenium, let's look at that. In Selenium, you don't have to know rocket science, something like that. You should be having knowledge of existing classes, and you should be knowing how to create objects of existing classes. Okay, what I mean to say is that if you look at documentation, if you look at the documentation of Selenium, right? Out here, you will see a lot of classes. You can simply create the object of those classes. It's also simple as well and use them. For example, to start with, there's a class known as, many of you must have seen, Firefox Drive. Fine. I will make a, I'll make a new class known as Selenium Basics. Alright, with the main function. Now in Selenium, I was telling you everything is inbuilt. Out here, I made the class object of the car class and I have created the car class. But in Selenium API, all the classes and all everything is there. You just need to create the objects of the classes. Alright. So what you can do out here is in Selenium Basics, you can create the object of this class, Firefox driver. You write over here, new Firefox driver. Where is this Firefox driver class present? This class is present somewhere in the jar files, which we had actually downloaded for our project. Okay. In day two project as well, I'll have to include the jars of Selenium. For every new project to create, you need to add the jar files. Don't forget to add the jar files under lib. Okay. So you create the object of Firefox driver, you import it. Fine, move your mouse over there and import it from the jar file. The first line is for importing. And if you run this, yeah. So this is the browser. Okay. Just by creating the object of Firefox driver, I'm able to launch Firefox. But if I take a reference, I make something point towards it. Hold on. F, right? Then with F, if I write F dot, then there are many functions available over here. This is similar to when I created the object of car class and I used to write car dot. Okay, so there are so many functions available here which will be studying during the course. Okay, so out here you can write F dot. There's a function known as get, which actually moves you to a particular URL. Okay, I can write HTTP. So Gmail. So if I run this, this will take me to Gmail. Okay, so there's no rocket science involved. Everything is inbuilt. You need to know how the classes are used. Okay, yeah. So you see that, all right? Now, hold on. Fine. Now suppose I have to work on Chrome. To work with Chrome, there is a new class which is known as Chrome driver. Okay. Similar to Firefox driver, there is Chrome driver as well. When you create the object of this class, Chrome opens. You have to import it from the documentation, sorry, from the reference libraries. Okay, click on the import button and this class will be imported. Okay, you set up the, if you run the code, you get an error. Most of you will get an error. Okay, right? E- Even if I write Chrome, even if I give the reference like Chrome driver C equals to new Chrome driver, right? Even if I run after this, you get an error. Now, whenever you get an error like this, don't get confused. Okay, copy the first line, copy it, and open Google, find, and in Google, just paste the message. You'll get a lot of things and you'll get a solution as well. Okay, that's how everybody learns, right? So just need to copy the first line. I'll tell you why this error is coming. The thing is, for Chrome driver and for Internet Explorer, you need to download some third-party drivers. Okay, hold on, I'll tell you. Uh, if you go to seleniumhq.org, out here it's written third-party browser drivers not developed by Selenium Chrome. Okay, go to the download page. All right, and on the download page, you see Chrome driver downloadables. Okay, for various operating systems. All right, you can download for the system which you want. All right, whatever you prefer. Right, I already have it in my. No, I don't have it. I download it. Just give me 1 minute. Uh, just hold on. Meanwhile, anybody having any questions? Any questions regarding technical question, uh, doubt clearing question, anything? No question. All right. So this is Chrome driver.zip file which we have downloaded. We paste it over here. Okay. Yeah, Shiva, 2 minutes. So Shiva is asking a question. Where do I get jar files? Okay, for jar files, this is the download link. Okay, go to this page and give the link on WebEx chat to everyone and click on the download link over here. Then Selenium jar files will download. So I have
You mean
downloaded it.
so you mean Java means jar file?
Yeah,
Okay. Because I thought like we have to like extract it from somewhere else.
No, you just need to download the jar files. That's it. And import them in Eclipse by right clicking and going to the properties. Okay.
Matter for 64 and 32-bit.
Yeah, same. Okay. So out here, I'll right click on this file and select extract here. And this Chrome driver.exe will come. Fine. You have to set this exe in a system path. You have to write system.set property WebDriver.chrome.driver. Okay. And the property is H drive. Inside H drive, Chrome driver.exe. Okay. If you look at the error, if you read there carefully, the error says that the path to driver executable must be set by the hold on, by the WebDriver.chrome.driver system property. Okay. So that's what I've done. Right. If I run now, alright, see that this page opens the Chrome page. Fine. Now if I write again c dot any function like get the same URL, it will work. Right. So when you run this, right? Okay. So this is great, right? This is done. Fine. Now if I want on IE, okay, for IE we have got Internet Explorer driver. Fine. You create the object of this Internet Explorer driver. Okay. And after creating the object of this, you write Internet Explorer driver dot get to the URL and you run the code. You'll get same error in IE as well. The error will be the path to driver executable must be set by the WebDriver.i.driver system. The thing is, in I as well, you need to set the system property. Rather in I, you need to do two things. First, look, I am having i6 with me because it's a server operating system. Fine, 2003 server. So it's got i6. But how to work with I'll tell you. Just go to Google and simply turn off the protected mode in I8, I9, whatever it is, and follow these instructions. The protected mode has to be at the same level for all the fields, but generally I advise people to turn it off. Okay. Secondly, you need to download the iDriver exe, like from here, from the Selenium website. You click on 32-bit I or 64-bit I, whatever you have, and save this file. Fine. And hold on. Hold on. Yeah. So this is iDriver server.exe. Okay. You take this, put it in your H drive again. Okay. Now what you need to do is that you need to write the same line over here for iDriver as well. That is system dot set property, but the property name would be WebDriver dot I.driver, and the value will be the pass to iDriver.exe, that is H drive. Alright. So I created three objects of three different classes. Right. Okay. For example, now what I can do is if I uncomment Firefox, Chrome and I, all three of them, and if I run the code, all three of them will execute for me. See, Firefox opens, it goes to Gmail, Chrome, right, and then I will open. You see this, I has opened, and right. So this is how you can execute the script on multiple three different browsers, right? Apart from this, you can also execute it on Android. Alright, it's quite stable. Safari driver is not so stable in Selenium as of now. Okay, but Android is quite stable. I have also executed it. Okay, you cannot test your Android application with Selenium, but you can test how your website is opening with Android. Okay. So any questions from anybody as of now? Anything?
Ashish?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you said, you cannot test Android applications using Selenium, but you can see whether the site is opening. So what does that mean exactly? Like,
You have to
if I
test
want to
whether
test a web application in Android or iPhone, can I do it using Selenium?
yes, Selenium is only for web-based application. It's not for
Okay.
native.
So you mean to say, okay, if something is some Finder application. So based on my project, I'm telling
For
if that
example,
is
there's a game.
installed, then that you will not be able to test. So that
No.
okay, I got it.
For
Thank
example,
you.
there's a game, right? You cannot test the game using Selenium, but you can definitely test how your website is opening over the internet.
Okay.
Yeah. So now this is done. Okay, all the three browsers are good: Firefox, Chrome, IE. Right. Now various questions rise. How will you test on multiple browsers. Right? For example, there is an XLS file in which, or there is an XML file, external source basically, or a text file in which I have written uh, the kind of browser you have to open. My code should read the browser name from that Excel file and it should actually open up that particular browser. Okay, or uh, keeping it quite simple, I want to open my browser dynamically. If I want that in that Excel file, if I change the browser from Mozilla to Chrome, for example, then the complete code should execute on Chrome. IE driver and Firefox driver should not initialize. Okay, so this is first question. Secondly, are commands different? Please keep your microphones on mute. Okay, what do I mean by are commands different? The thing is, there are three classes: Firefox, Chrome, and IE. Now, suppose tomorrow another driver comes up. For example, Safari driver came up recently. Okay, it's not stable. Something they don't work on it. Alright. Will Safari driver have its own set of functions? For example, Firefox driver have its own has got its own set of functions. Then Chrome driver, put the cursor in front of plus sign and hit Control space bar, you get the list of functions. It's got its own set of functions. So will the functions be different? If I have to click on a link using Firefox driver and Chrome driver, will the functions be different? Is the way different than, like, both the drivers, are they, do they work differently? This is the major question. Okay, right. And thirdly, which people basically ask me is, what are locators? Alright, so I'll tell you everything. Fine. To understand these concepts, alright, you need to understand uh, firstly about the concept of interfaces in Java language. Okay, I started with Java language. I made a class known as car. I showed you what objects are in test car language. Sorry, test car class. Okay, then I created some objects of Selenium classes. Right now we face issues like these which I have listed above. Okay, so to understand further on, we have to move back to Java, right? And I'll have to tell you about interfaces. I'll create a new interface. Okay, right click on the source folder, new interface. Fine, I'll name that interface as phone. Pretty simple. Alright. Now, what is an interface? Okay. You know, when you actually go to, say, a bookstore, alright, to buy some book. Right? For example, you want to buy a book on Selenium. What will you look at in the book in the beginning? You look at the index, right? Index page. You look at the topics which are covered. Fine. So the index page is just like an interface for you. You don't know how the book works, right? How deeply the topics are explained. But just looking at the menu, initial index page, you come to know that, fine, this is what the course offers. Similarly, when you go to a restaurant, you get the a la carte menu card, right? You see in that card and you look at the names of the dishes, prices of the dishes. So you are able to judge, right, what this restaurant can offer to you, right? Similarly, an interface tells you or tells the customer what the complete application is supposed to do. Okay. For example, in phone interface, we can write public void call text. So these are two features of the phone, two functions. But in the interface, we don't have the method bodies of the function. Okay, just declare that what the function is supposed to do or what the function will look like. Okay, it is just like the structure of the application. Fine. Now suppose we have a phone, a class, for example, not phone, a class known as Nokia phone. You create the object of, hold on, nothing, no main function. Main function is only given in the file which you want to execute. I don't want to execute this, right? Now Nokia phone is a phone. So generally in Java, what we write implement phone, right? So I write over here, this class implements the phone interface. Now when you write that the class is implementing a phone interface or any interface, it is mandatory for the class to implement all the functions from the interface. Okay, so it becomes mandatory for Nokia class to implement all the functions. So you move your mouse over the error. That's why the error is coming because you have not implemented the functions, right? Click on add unimplemented methods. So both the functions call and text will come in Nokia phone. In Nokia can implement the call function as per its own way. You can write Nokia calling, then you can write Nokia text, right? So Nokia phone class, it implements the phone interface and it implements both the functions. This is known as an annotation @override. It's not mandatory to give an annotation. Don't think that it's mandatory, you can also remove it. But this annotation override means that this function call is coming from the interface phone which the class is implementing. Okay, fine. So if a layman looks at the code tomorrow, by looking at this function call and the @override symbol on it, he will be able to actually tell that fine, I got it. This function is coming from the phone interface. Okay, so this helps a lot. Alright. Similarly, now what is the advantage then? The question arises. Why? By implementing the phone interface, what advantage do I get? Okay, I could have kept the scenario like this, that I do not uh, implement the phone interface, but I keep the functions like this. Okay, I keep call and text functions inside Nokia phone, but I do not implement the phone interface. Then what is the usage? Okay, what is the usage? What is the advantage? Alright, the thing is, hold on. If I create a new class known as Samsung phone, fine, and inside Samsung phone I write implement phone. Inside Samsung I write it implements the phone interface. Okay. Now again, Samsung phone will also have to implement the functions call and text. Right. In call function, you can write Samsung calling. Right. In text, you can write Samsung text. So basically, what I have done is, hold on, I made an interface. I had call and text functions inside the interface. The interface name was phone. Now we had two classes. Okay, one was Nokia phone, other is Samsung phone. Both the classes, they implement the same interface. Okay, they implement the same interface. All right, and both the classes, in, since they implement the call and the text functions. Now by doing this, you give a structure to your complete web application. Okay, you give a structure to your complete web application. Tomorrow, if a new phone comes up, it will also have same set of functions. You don't have to worry what are the functions in Samsung phone, what are the functions in Nokia phone, what is the functions in iPhone, right? The functions will remain same, call and text. Each class will implement the functions in its own way. Samsung can call on its own logic and Nokia can call on its own logic. But the function names remain the same as defined in the interface. Interface, it kind of brings in a discipline. I hope you are able to understand this. If you are not able to understand this, please let me know. Okay. Now what happens in WebDriver? If you look at the documentation, Java docs, everybody has heard the word WebDriver, right? Everybody has heard the word WebDriver, right? What is WebDriver? In this documentation, this is documentation of WebDriver. Whatever is written in italics, it is an interface. Okay. For example, mouse is an interface. It's got mouse simulation functions. And these are the two classes, event firing mouse and HTML mouse, which implement this interface. Okay. Similarly, as we have known WebDriver, what is WebDriver? WebDriver is nothing but an interface. It's the starting point of Selenium. It's got various functions which you can perform on a browser, like close the browser, find an element, that means find something on the browser, a link or a button, right? Get the page source of the browser, get the title of the browser, right? Quit means close the browser. So these are some of the generic functions which are there in the WebDriver interface. And all the implementing classes are Android driver, Android WebDriver, Chrome driver, Event File driver, Firefox, Internet Explorer, iPhone, Remote driver, Safari driver. So all my driver classes which we studied earlier, Firefox, Chrome, IE, each and every class goes and implements the WebDriver interface. So each and every class will have same set of functions in them. You don't have to worry if you clicking if you have to click on if you have to click on a link in Firefox using a command, like for example you need to find an object on the page, then you use the command find element. This command will be there for all the three browsers, Firefox, Chrome, IE. Close command will also be there for all the three browsers, Firefox, Chrome, IE. Okay, so you really don't have to worry will the commands be different for different types of browsers. Okay, so this concept of uh, interfaces, it solves everything. Are you able to understand this? I'll stop here for today. If you have any questions, you can tell me.
If
Okay,
you
what is the
can
annotation over here? Tell me.
Ashish, can you please show us again how to extract those jar files?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Jar files, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. How to import them?
How to extract again? Like last time you just did it like a couple of minutes ago.
You mean the driver executables which are downloaded?
Like you said at the beginning, like when we open the what is it, Eclipse, then you have to extract it before we start.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Okay, thank you.
The question is being asked about this override annotation. Look, it doesn't matter. You can remove it as well. It's not necessary. But this annotation only tells the user that the call function is coming from the phone interface. Okay? It's just like a mark, a comment to them. Alright? It tells the end user that this is coming from this interface. Okay, to add the jar files of Selenium, you have to go to the project properties. In project properties, you have got a lot of sections. Go to the Java build path. Okay, and in Java build path, you will find various tabs: source, projects, libraries, order, and so on. Go to the libraries tab, third one. Alright, and there will be a button add external jars. Not add jars, but or add external jars. Click on it and go to the location where you have downloaded and stored Selenium jar files. Like I have over here in 2.31, right? You can add these two jar files and you can also add the jar files underneath. Okay, so you can work like this.
I
You
know
can add.
where I keep my jar file.
You don't know that?
I know, but I don't recall.
You can go to your downloads directory in it. It will be present.
Okay, thank you.
Or download them again. Download them again, not a problem.
Okay,
Okay.
got it. Thank you.
Ashish, will you be able to run this Samsung phone and
No,
the Nokia phone?
it cannot be executed. It's a structure right now which I have prepared. I'll execute it tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. And there's no main function right now. You cannot execute it. This is the structure. Right. So Fine, then you'll get a new meeting invite for tomorrow.